Hi Ansh. Okay, we covered up to that refraction definition, and in the refraction process, the ray of light is a bending when it is passing from one medium to another medium. The bending may be towards the normal or away from the normal, based on the ray is propagating from rarer medium to denser medium, or maybe denser medium to rarer medium. So, based on that, the ray can be bent away from the normal or towards the normal. And we defined a new variable, that is a refractive index and also relative refractive index. Okay, refractive index and relative refractive index. Okay, their definitions, equations, and the values of the refractive index of some mediums also are given. Okay, now we have laws of refraction, and when the ray of light is made perpendicular to the interface between any two media, then that is called as a normal incidence. So what you can be observed, if the mediums are maybe different or maybe same, so that is observation. We'll see. First we'll go for the laws of refraction. Laws of refraction. Laws of refraction. So we seen in case of reflection also laws of reflection. Similarly, we have laws of refraction. So what are the laws of refraction? There are two laws are there. The first one is the incident ray, refracted ray, and normal drawn to the interface. That is a normal. So these three are lies in the same plane. So that is observed in case of reflection also. Incident ray, reflected ray, and normal are lies in the same plane in case of reflection. But whereas here, in case of refraction also, that is valid. Incident ray, refracted ray, incident ray, refracted ray, and normal are lies in the same plane. So this is the first law of refraction, and second one is, it is important one, that is the product of sine of angle of incidence and the refractive index in that medium. So the angle of incidence and medium where that incident angle is makes what is this refractive index. So that is the the product of sine of incident angle and the refractive index of that particular medium is always constant during the refraction process. Or you can be observed to be having here the ratio of sine of incident angle to sine of refraction angle is constant. Is constant, or maybe it is equal to the relative refractive index of medium 2 with respect to medium 1. Medium 2 with respect to medium 1. So that is here we can be observed to be having the ratio of the ratio of sine of sine sine of incident angle, sine of incident angle to sine of refraction angle, sine of refraction angle is equal to the relative refractive index of medium 2 to medium 1, or simply if it is one of the medium is we are taking as a the incident angle is taking in the air medium, and the second medium is we are taking as a any other medium having the refractive index mu, then it is equal to refractive index of the medium. Or I can say this ratio, the sine of incident angle to the sine of refraction angle, is equal to relative refractive index of the two mediums, medium 2 with respect to medium 1, right? Equal to, it is the relative refractive index, relative refractive index, relative refractive index of medium 2 with respect to medium 1, where the ray is propagating from medium 1 to medium 2. So there you can have this equation or this statement. So now according to this statement we can write here, it is sine of incident angle upon sine of refraction angle is equal to, it is the relative refractive index of medium 2 with respect to medium 1. So this is nothing but I can write it is sine of incident angle upon sine of refraction angle is equal to, it is mu 2 1 is, you can write it is mu 2 upon mu 1, where mu 2 is the refractive index of the second medium and mu 1 is the refractive index of the first medium, right? So we can observe to be having this one, this ratio is what it is called as the, it is called as the relative refractive index, and also this ratio is a constant. This value will be, you are getting a constant. Suppose the angle of incidence is, you take I1 and angle of refraction is I2, then what you get here, mu 1 sin I1 is equal to mu 2 sin I2. So we can write, just observe here, this is the interface when the ray of light is propagating from, this is a medium 1, this is a medium 2, and this is a normal drawn, right? So which is having the refractive index is mu 1 and this one is having the refractive index is mu 2, second medium, right? So this is the incident ray we have, this is the actual direction of the ray. So maybe it is away from the normal or towards the normal, whatever may be, but it is bending, can be expressed. This is what you can be observed. So this is a normal we have here. This is the angle of incidence I am taking as a I1 in the first medium, and this one is angle of refraction, but I am taking this angle as a I2, angle of refraction only, but I am taking I2. That means here sine of this I1 into mu 1, sine of this I2 into mu 2 is constant. They are equal. So if you observe this one, this I as I am writing as a I1, this R as I am writing as a I2, then this equation can be written as, here it is sine I1 upon sine I2 is equal to mu 2 upon mu 1, or this can be written as, here it is mu 1 sine I1 is equal to mu 2 sine I2. Okay, this is what it is called as a second law of refraction, or simply you can write it is a mu sine I is equal to constant. Okay, this is what it is called as the Snell's law of refraction, second one, and this law is also called as this one or this one or this one, it is called Snell's law. It is the name of the person, his name is Snell, and this equation is called as Snell's law. So the law of refraction in that second law is called as what is that? It is Snell's law of refraction. Snell's law of refraction, which is given by sine I upon sine R is equal to, it is mu 2 upon mu 1. This is called as the second law of refraction, right? This first law is generally, it is same as both cases of reflection and refraction, but whereas for refraction the second law is different. That is, we are having this equation. So I am writing this equation further as here, if this first medium is air medium, this is any medium having the refractive index is mu. So that is, if I am taking, if mu 1 is equal to 1 because it is air medium, and second medium having the refractive index I am taking as a mu, then this equation will become what you can get here. That is I can write this equation as sine of incident angle upon sine of refraction angle is equal to, it is a mu 2 by mu 1. Mu 2 is mu 1 is 1. That you can write it is mu only. So whenever that incident ray is starting from air medium and getting into another medium having the refractive index of mu, then always this equation is become as sine of incident angle upon sine of refraction angle equal to the refractive index of the medium, provided the ray is propagating from air to the medium. Air medium to that medium, it is propagating, then you can have this equation. So this equation is what it is called as a Snell's law of refraction. It is Snell's law of refraction. Snell's law of refraction. So this is an important one. Define Snell's law. It is nothing but law of refraction. Second law of refraction only. So second law of refraction is nothing but it is the ratio of sine of incident angle to the sine of refraction angle is equal to the refractive index of the medium, provided the rays are propagating from air to the medium, is called as a Snell's law, which is given by sine of incident angle upon sine of refraction angle is equal to mu. Right? So this is the second law, and first law is already I said it is the incident ray, refracted ray and normal drawn to the interface. All these three rays are lies in the same plane. That is the first law of refraction, and this one is called second law of refraction. The second law of refraction is also called as the Snell's law of refraction, or simply Snell's law. Right? So remember, the second one is important. That is Snell's law is important for calculations. So remember this equation. Okay. Now, if the incident ray is made normal to the surface or interface, so how it will be, the deviation can be takes place. Or if the ray of light is propagating along the same medium, whether the ray can be making any deviation or not. Okay, that we can be observed here. So if the ray of light is making the normal incidence, then what you can be observed, that ray can be whether it will be refracted or it will be passing straight or any deviation takes place or not. So that you can be see here. So here normal incidence. So normal incidence is nothing but the ray is perpendicular to the interface. Okay, that means along the normal itself the ray is propagating. That is the meaning of normal incidence. So here we are taking an interface. Let it be, this is an interface separating the two mediums. Here the medium is 1, here the medium is 2. And for first medium refractive index is mu 1, for second medium refractive index is mu 2. Right? And this is the interface we have. Now this is the normal. Let it be, I am drawing perpendicular to surface. This is a normal. It is a normal. So here normal incidence means the incident ray should be passing along the normal itself. So along this direction only the ray of light is made interaction or passing through the one medium to another medium along the normal. So when the ray of light is propagating like this, so the ray can be moves into the other medium without changing in its direction. Without changing in its direction, it is propagating from one medium to another medium for only normal incidence. So here, what is the incident angle? 0. What is the refraction angle? Is also 0. Right? So therefore, what you can be get? The deviation, both are zeros, right? So deviation formula, what you can be having here? Deviation is nothing but it is I minus r or r minus I, depends upon the bending of light. But here there is no bending at all. If you are taking the I minus r or r minus I, both are zeros. So delta also 0. So deviation also 0, which represents that there is no deviation, means you cannot be say there is no refraction. Yes, it is for normal incidence there is no refraction. You can be say this normal incidence is a condition for no refraction. There is a process of refraction can be takes place when the light is passing from one medium to another medium. Here also light is passing from the one medium to another medium, but here refraction is not taking place. When it is not taking place, only for these normal incidents. You have to remember this. For normal incidents, there is no refraction. There is no refraction. Right? So that is what you can be observed here. Okay. So this for normal incidents, no refraction. Even though the light is propagating from one medium to another medium. So already what is the definition for refraction? When a ray of light is propagating from one medium to another medium, the bending of light takes place, which is called as a refraction, right? But whereas here, there are two mediums are there. The light is propagating from one medium to another medium. But here, the light ray is normal to the interface. In that case, there is no deviation, no bending at all. Because of that, we don't have the process of refraction here, right? So here the two mediums are there, but refraction cannot be takes place as the ray of light is a perpendicular to the interface, normal to the interface. In this condition or in this case, there is no refraction, right? Similarly, another observation. Other than the normal incidents we have, but the mediums are same. You have the interface. Let it be this is one of the interface, and here this is a medium 1, this is a medium 2. Your medium 1 is having the refractive index is mu1, medium 2 is having the refractive index is mu2, and this is a normal to the surface, this is n normal. Now here the ray of light is propagating from one medium to another medium. Let it be this is a ray of light. So ray of light is propagating from one medium to another medium apart of the normal. It is not passing along the normal. Apart of the normal, it is a passing. Even though it is a part of the normal, it is a passing from one medium to another medium without deviation again. The ray is not changes its direction when it is enter into the other medium. So this is observed to be get only when the two mediums must be same. That means here the medium 1 and medium 2 should be having the same mediums are existing, which represents their refractive indices must be same. The refractive indices of the two mediums are same, even though it is not a normal incidence. In any incident, if you are made that interaction passing from the one medium to another medium, provided the two mediums are same, their refractive indices are equal, there you can be observed the ray does not make any deviation, no bending at all. So which represents again no refraction here also. So even when a ray of light is propagating from one medium to another medium, if that mediums are having same refractive index, then there is no bending, there is no refraction. As here the light is propagating from one medium to another medium, but here the condition we are taking as mu1 is equal to mu2. The refractive index of both the mediums are equal, which represents that both the mediums are having the same refractive index. There the ray of light cannot be takes place any bending. So you can be observed no refraction again. So the deviation here also how much you can get? Here also the deviation is 0. So you can be say here the angle of incidence and angle of refraction both are equal. So when the angle of incidence and angle of refraction both are equal, sin I by sin r, that is equal to 1. So mu2 by mu1 is equal to 1 means mu1 and mu2 both are equal. So whenever you can have this ray of light is propagating from one medium to another medium, if that ray of light is not deviating, not changes its direction, that is possible only when the two mediums must be same, having the same refractive indices, right? So this is another observation you have to remember, right? So this is for normal incidence, this is for not a normal incidence, but we are taking a condition that the ray of light is not taking any deviation. So what is the condition required? The condition is nothing but the two mediums must be having the same refractive index, which represents that is same medium. Okay, so these 2 points you have to remember related to refractive index. Okay, so coming to this refraction process. So till now we covered the definition and bending of light in which direction, and what is the equation for this refractive index, right? And during the refraction process, which variable is constant? Frequency of that light is remains constant. wavelength velocities are changes. Wavelength velocities are changes, but there is no change in the frequency, right? So that we seen in the previous video. And also the bending of light can be takes place in which direction depends upon the rays propagating from which medium to which medium. If the ray of light is propagating from rarer to denser medium, the bending of light can be takes place towards normal. And if it is a reverse case, that is denser to rarer medium, if the ray is propagating, the bending can be takes place away from the normal, right? And after that we see in the laws of refraction, first law and second law. The second law of refraction is called as a Snell's law, right? And after that we see in these two conditions, right? So these are very important, these 2 points. So these 2 points are very important. You have to remember about this concept. Okay, next we have the refraction through the curved surfaces, and also refraction from the plane surfaces, like you can be observed to be having the prism, refraction through the prism, or that is called as a dispersion. We will see that one afterwards. First we'll get go for this refraction at curved surfaces. Okay, refraction at curved surfaces. So the curve you can be taken with any radius of curvature, or the curve may be taken a part of the spherical or sphere of given glass material, and on which if the light ray is made incident, then the light can be takes a refraction process, right? So here now refraction at curves, refraction at curved surfaces, curved surfaces. Refraction at curved surfaces. Okay, now you consider a curved surface here. The curved surface is a part of a spherical shape of any glass material. So you can take here, this is a spherical object, it is a sphere I am taking. So for this sphere, you consider a part of this is the center of that sphere, and a portion of this one you make it cut. So this part I am taking here, this part only I am taking. So remaining part I am removing. The remaining part of this sphere is taking out. So now you can be having this part, and this part of whatever we have taken is a spherical part, which is called as a curved part, and this point is called as it is a center, right? For this curve it is called as a center of curvature. We can be represented by C. Okay, now you can also take here to here the distance that is centered to the center of this part, it is called as aperture, and which is intersect at its center, that is called as, we can call as a pole, we said, right? So which is called as a pole or center part, you can say. This is called as aperture. From here to here, what is the radius? Capital R, it is a radius of curvature. It is a radius of curvature. And a straight line passing from the center of curvature and pole, this straight line is called, it is called as a principal axis. It is called principal axis, right? So now you can be observed to be having, when the ray of light is coming and make interaction, so this is a inner part, and this type of a curve is called as a concave curve, and this outer part is what it is called as a convex curve. So depends upon the light how it is made interaction. So this is, you can be called as a ray of light is coming from infinity and parallel to principal axis. Similarly, a ray of light is coming from infinity parallel to principal axis. Once they made interaction with this inner part of that curve, which is concave part of that curved portion, so we can take this one to be made refraction. It can be made refraction like this. So it can be makes the refraction in this direction. So where this point of interaction will takes place when you make extension in backside. So this point is called as a focus. And from this pole to this focus, here we have the pole. From this pole to the focus, this distance is called as the focal length. It is represented by small f, focal length, right? So this is what you can call a curved part, which is a inner part will be interaction with the light, which is called as a concave, which is called concave. If it is makes outer part, which is called as a convex, right? So here I am taking the refraction at curved surfaces. So the refraction can be takes place at this inner part, or maybe this part also when the light is propagating in this direction. So this is a concave curve. Concave curve. If it is making that curve is like this, let it be. Like this, if you take the curve, and for this center will be here, and this aperture is making the midpoint from the center. That is what it is called as a pole. And from the pole and center, we are drawing a straight line. That is called as the principal axis. Here we have the center of curvature. Here we have the pole, right? And this part of the curve is called as a convex. It is called convex. When the light is made interacted like this, that is what it can be called. The light is coming from the infinity, which is a parallel to the principal axis. And this is also light is coming from infinity. It is parallel to principal axis. After the interaction of these light ray from long distances, they made refraction, and they will be coming and interacting or intersecting at a point where you can be get the image can be formed, or maybe you can be observed. I'll draw little bit once again this ray diagram. See the ray diagram here. This is the center of curvature. You have here C, and you can have this one. The ray can be gets refracted like this, and they are intersecting at one point on the principal axis. That is called as a focus. Right here we have the pole. This is the pole. This is the principal axis. So this is a convex part of that curved surface. So this is what you can be observed. The terminology required: principal axis, pole, focus, center of curvature, aperture for that curved surface. This part is having the different medium, and this part is having the different mediums. This is having the different medium, because the refraction can be takes place only when the ray of light is propagating from one medium to another medium. If this medium is having the refractive index is mu1, this medium is having the refractive index is mu2, and the object distance is infinity. U is equal to infinity, that is a minus infinity, because we are measuring from the pole. It is the left side, so left side is negative sign conventions. So image is forms here. That means image distance is here. We are taking that as a V, which is equal to focal length only. V is equal to F. Right. So this is what you can be observed. Object is at infinity. You are getting the image is at focus, and at what distance it is? At focal length of that curved surface itself. You can be get the image formation. So now here the relation between here pole to the C, center of curvature. What is that? It is a radius of curvature, capital R. So here there are 5 variables are there: object distance, image distance, radius of curvature, and refractive index of the first medium, refractive index of the second medium. 5 variables are there: mu1, mu2, u, v, and capital R. Capital R is radius of curvature, u is the object distance, v is the image distance, and mu1, mu2 are refractive indices of two mediums, which is the two mediums separated by the curve. Right. So what is the relation between these 5 variables? So that relation is called as or you can be get by using simple observation. I am not deriving, just I will write the relation between these 5 variables: mu1, mu2, u, v, and r. Okay. So here for refraction at curved surfaces, there you can be observed to be having, here you have an equation. That equation is mu2 upon v minus mu1 upon u is equal to mu2 minus mu1 upon r. So this is the relation we can have between these 5 variables: mu1, mu2, u, v, and r. Mu1 is refractive index of first medium, mu2 is the refractive index of second medium, u is the object distance, v is the image distance, and capital R is the radius of curvature for this curved surface. Right? For this curved surface, the radius of curvature is given by capital R. So what is the relation between these 5 variables? When the refraction is made by a light which is intersecting a curved surface and which is separated by the two mediums having the refractive indices mu1, mu2, and objective distance is u, image distance is v, then the relation for these 5 variables is given by mu2 by v minus mu1 by u is equal to mu2 minus mu1 upon r. This is the, what is here mu1, mu2, mu1 comma mu2. You can also write what are these symbols represents. mu1 comma mu2, mu1 comma mu2 are refractive indices. Refractive indices of two mediums, two media, and u objective distance, and v it is image distance, and we can have f or r. F is focal length of the curve, and r is radius of curvature, So this relation is you have to use for calculations, and I'm not deriving. Whenever a refraction takes place at curved surfaces, you can use this formula for solving object location or object distance or image distance or focal length or radius or what is the refractive index of first medium or second medium. You can be determined by using this equation. This equation also we can be modifying into the lens formula or lens maker's formula we can be modified. So that modification and lens maker formula we'll see in the another class, right?